I have an MP7. So guys, we are back at Thurlaston Archery and Airgun Range, and as you can see, we are back on their airsoft range behind me, and today we're going to be taking a look at this. This is the Umarex officially licensed HK MP7. The OEM for this is VFC, and this is the gas blowback version rather than the AEG, because we like gas blowback here on the channel, and the AEG variant kind of sucks. This is a really, really awesome replica. As I said, it's officially licensed, so you've got those awesome H&K trades on the receiver, and it's gas blowback, and this thing actually kicks really, really hard. This is one of my favourite guns in my collection. This thing's got a really special place in my heart. I enjoy shooting it. It's a lot of fun to shoot. It looks awesome and it sounds incredible. It's an absolute monster in CQB. Double taps on this thing are just an absolute blast. So with all that being said, let's take it out to the range and range test it. So here we are on the range with the Umarex officially licensed MP7. We've got a mag full of 3.2s and red gas. Let's load it up and see how this thing performs at 30 metres. And we're clear, so let's go and have a look at that target. Overall, relatively consistent. We've got a couple of flyers, but we've got a nice little grouping here, nice little grouping down here, and a little grouping down here. This is kind of zeroed for 50 metres, so we're a little bit off in terms of the reticle, and it was quite windy, and it's now kind of chilled out a little bit. But pretty happy with that at about 30 metres. It's not the best grouping in the world, but not the worst. Let's put some more rounds on paper. Back at 30 metres, let's do a bit of full auto and see how this thing performs. So I thought I'd take a look at grouping this at 50 metres. We had a few low misses and then we had some low skimmers here. There's a little group there, two pretty much dead centre, which I'm quite happy with. There's a nice grouping here, one in the air and then a couple of flyers. So at 50 metres, I'm pretty content with that grouping and that performance. So we've just completed our range test with the H&K Umarex MP7. As I said earlier, this is one of my favourite guns in my collection. It's just a lot of fun to shoot. It kicks really hard, the recoil is just super satisfying, and it's a really fun platform. These things are super compact, and it is an absolute monster in CQB. There's a couple of things that I want to talk about that are known issues with this platform. One being the receiver itself. These are quite prone to cracking because of the heavy recoil. And if they do crack, there's not really anything worthwhile you can do to repair it. It is a case of buying a whole new receiver. So that's something worth being aware of. Now the next issue are the magazines. These mags are quite heavy, they're nice, they feel like they're well built, but they're really not. I mean, in terms of gas mags are always expensive, but these are like 53 or 56 quid a pop, so not cheap. But the issues with these are the feed lips and the bottom plate. Both are made out of the most brittle polymer known to man. The feed lips will just shatter, and the bottom plates do have a tendency of cracking and falling off. And when that happens, all the working parts in the magazine, so the follower, the spring and the follower guide, are all gonna shoot out and fuck off over yonder. So picking up spare parts for these magazines, if you're gonna buy into this platform, is an absolute necessity, because these things are so prone to breaking. I've got a broken one here, and at home I've got 4 or 5 of these in a similar condition, where as you can see the bottom plate is completely missing and the feed lips have shattered. The magazines really let this gun down. As I said, this is one of my favourite guns in my collection. It performs really well, it feels and sounds great to shoot. It is just let down by the magazines that are essentially made of cheese. Now, that being said, the magazines feel really satisfying. They hold 40 rounds and they hold a good amount of gas, and the gas efficiency on this gun's actually pretty good. So, because we like to run drills on this channel, we're going to do a 5-minute bill drill, 5 rounds on target as quick as we can. We'll start from low ready and engage. And then we'll do one more for good luck. And third time, because why not? So, an interesting one. We did a couple of runs of a bill drill with that. Our first grouping, quite tight but quite low. Our second grouping, nice and tight in the middle. We did a third grouping up here, and then our fourth grouping up here on the head. So, pretty happy with that, with 5 rounds on target each time, all hits. A slight clip on the shoulder there, but I think we'll count that. But generally, second grouping and fourth grouping, really happy with. This time we're going to do a reload drill. We're going to do 2 rounds on target with our first mag, reload, and then another 3 rounds into the target once we've reloaded. Let's give it a whirl. We'll go once more on that because I think I can get it slightly quicker. Yeah, pretty happy with that. And I think while we're here, why don't we mag dump it for good measure? I don't run this thing on full auto enough, so. And we're struggling on gas a little bit, but we did clear the mag. So here we are at the end of our range day with the Umarex MP7. And to sum up, I love this thing. It is so much fun to shoot. It's a really satisfying platform to get into. It's just let down by a couple of really unfortunate things. One being the lack of durability with the receiver and its proneness to cracking. And then the second, and I would say perhaps biggest one, because it's a more common problem, are the magazines just being generally dog shit and not really standing up to any sort of punishment. What I did initially when I had these is I put 2 in my dump pouch at the very first game. During the course of that game, I ended up with 2 magazines, both missing the bottom plates, missing all the spring and follower internals, and having shattered feed lips, and all those pieces were just scattered around in my dump pouch, and the springs had long gone. So that was a quick lesson in what not to do with the magazines with this thing. Really, if you get these, you want to be re-indexing them in mag pouches, just because they will not stand up to being in a dump pouch and having you running around and manoeuvring. But other than that, this thing it's a lot of fun. It's a really awesome system. So it begs the question, this versus the Tokyo Marui, and I think really that boils down to what you want from the gun. The Marui is the better gun, that much is clear. The build quality, especially of the magazines, there is a night and day difference, and there are more upgrades catered for the Marui. Not to say there aren't upgrade parts available for these, because there are, but there's just much more out there for the Marui system. The big downside with the TM is the fact that it is shrunk down by about 25%, so it is a much smaller platform than this officially licensed replica. And that's another point for this, it is officially licensed. So if that's something that bothers you, this does have those awesome HK trademarks. It is also one-to-one with the real MP7, which is nice, and it just feels really good in the hand. It feels good to shoulder. It's got full ambidextrous controls. The bolt release, the fire selector, even the bolt handle is relatively ambidextrous. The only thing that isn't is the stock release to collapse and extend the stock, but that's as with the real still. So yeah, this is just a really, really satisfying gun to use. And I've had a lot of fun with this thing over the years, and I hope I will continue to do so. So that wraps up our video on the Umarex MP7. I've got a really awesome video with a 12 gauge shotgun coming in a couple of weeks' time, so stay tuned for that one, and I will catch you in the next video, guys.